It's a beautiful day to you, my lovely and smart real estate investors. Hope you all are doing well today, and I'm super delighted to welcome you to another insightful and educative session of Property Matters here on YouTube. In case you're coming across a video like this for the first time, Property Matter is a real estate YouTube talk show where we expose you to everything you need to know about real estate investment and, of course, real estate development here in the beautiful city of Lagos, Nigeria. Over time, we've talked extensively on how you can identify a fraudulent real estate developer. We've also given insightful tips on how you can identify a fraudulent real estate transaction. Property Matter gives you an insightful information on anything you need to know about real estate. So in case you're coming across a video like this for the first time, do well to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and give the video a like so that we can reach more people so that they won't be making costly real estate investment decisions. See you after this short commercial. Don't go nowhere. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking extensively on how you can explore the off-plan market in Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm going to be sharing useful tips and, of course, important information that will help you make a profitable and, of course, an investment that you will not end up regretting. Now, when we talk about the off-plan, basically, for someone that might be hearing this video for the first time, an off-plan is a scenario where you buy before a building is completed. The advantages of off-land projects are very enormous, and before unscrupulous elements who call themselves fake real estate developers began to penetrate the real estate industry in Lagos, Nigeria, off-plan used to be the best form of investment because you are buying at the foundation level, and the price obviously would have skyrocketed. It would have increased in value even before the completion of the project. So I know a lot of real estate investors who have taken massive advantage of the off-plan, and many of them are even looking forward and encouraging their friends and loved ones to do so. But fast forward to the early 2019-2018, we began to observe some scandalous and, of course, dubious ways from some real estate developers who also use off-plan as a means of siphoning and, of course, duping people. More importantly, those who did not perceive that danger from the onset. Now, when you're looking at the off-plan market, basically the off-plan market is viable, the off-plan market is profitable, the off-plan market is a good investment. However, it is very important that as you are exploring the off-plan market, you need to pay attention to this. And there are some off-plan projects today that has left so many real estate developers to be confused and frustrated. Thanks to the economic policy of this present government, a whole lot of things have gone way above the reach of most of the real estate developers who are also in off-plan. So what exactly are the consequences of failed off-plan project? The first one is that projects are abandoned. So we have more of abandoned projects, and of course we have deteriorating infrastructure. So these are some of the things that you need to know. So how can you explore the off-plan market? How can you get the best? Of course, the reality basically right now is that the price of building materials are going way off the roof, and a whole lot of real estate companies realistically are gradually folding up, and the ones that did not fold up presently are shadows of what they used to be. So this is why it calls for adequate caution and thorough investigation that a real estate investor must do before he opts for an off-plan project. So now, what are the basic things? If you are interested in an off-plan project, what are those basic things that should matter? Because if these things that I would outline basically are well detailed and available in the project, it shows that that is a project that you should go for. Now, what are these things? The very first thing you should know basically is that it is very unrealistic and very unpardonable for any real estate investor to buy an off-plan project, whether it's on the mainland or on the highland, without the developer showing you what we call a drainage layout. Now, like I said, off-plan happens when people are still building, but if you are working with a serious-minded real estate developer, the developer must have, a thorough drawing that is explaining how he intends to tackle the issues of flooding. So it is very, very wrong, okay, for an investor to buy an off-plan project where there is no adequate drainage layout. Then the second thing that the real investor should also look out for basically is the proposed infrastructures that the developer is bringing into that site, and how he intends to achieve it, and what is the duration that which such infrastructures will be provided. Now, we have seen instances whereby a whole lot of real estate developers have made what we call fruitless and empty promises, leaving their investors frustrated. There was a particular project I supervised. I won't mention the name because the real estate developer is very, very, popular. But when I went to that particular location, it was quite unfortunate that, owing to the insistent, rainfall in these axes, most of the residents of that project could not leave their house, and that is basically a very, very, it has ended up being a nightmare for the investor. So it is very important that the developer must show you the project, give you a duration of how he intends to achieve that project. More importantly, this should be made mandatory if you are having doubt on the developer's ability to deliver. So that is very, very important. Then also, you should also look at the developer's past record of delivery. This is very, very important. Like in most cases, I don't suggest that people buy project from someone who is just doing that region or doing that project for the first time, because in most cases, records and experience has proven that some of these guys going into off-plan for the first time may be using it as what we call test running the market to pick ideas and, of course, important lessons. So it's quite unfortunate that people have bought properties, off-plan property, from a developer who doesn't have the experience, who doesn't have the knowledge, who doesn't have the expertise, okay? And sometimes most of those projects end out being a disaster. So these are some of the things you should put in into consideration. Then also, one of the way you can explore the off-plan market basically is for you to also ask questions on how the developer intends to design what we call the estate layout. Now, the estate layout will clearly state the electrification, the water supply. Of course, the estate plan will also specify if the project will be fully serviced or self-serviced. Now, the reason why I'm saying this basically is due to the fact that a whole lot of people are having difficulties in some of the projects and the buildings they have bought. And the reason for this difficulty basically is due to the fact that when these guys were trying to buy this project, they were not clarified on some important things. So how should you explore the off-plan markets? Number one, buy from a reputable and experienced real estate developer. And when I talk about reputable and experienced, basically the track record will speak, basically the experience will speak, basically the record will speak for themselves. Now, in most cases, some of our real estate investors are in the diaspora, so many of them may not even know how to identify this. This is why you have professionals like us in Nigeria. We interact, we have supervised several projects, so we know what to look out for whenever you're doing. So you must buy basically from a real estate developer that is experienced, a real estate developer that is working with the expertise. There was a particular house that was flooded, and when we found out that because of the fact that the real estate developer wants to hit the profit, he did not hire experienced guys, okay, to do most of the plumbing work of that house. And today, it's been a terrible experience for the real estate investor. So buy, more importantly, from a developer who is working with civil engineers, professional electricians, all these engineers that can ensure that jobs are done. Don't buy from a developer that wants to maximize profit, and in the process of doing that, he uses quacks, okay, to do the project, and you start having issues upon the purchase. Then another way you can explore the off-plan market basically is that go into the market very early. Now you should know basically that when they are selling properties in Lagos, Nigeria, there is what we call the pre-launch price. Now the pre-launch price basically is like the entry price for the real estate investor. As the project begins to proceed, as project begins to noticeable development, the prices tend to increase, in as much as fact that you have verified the developer, you are satisfied with the title documentation, and you have guarantee that these guys can develop and give you what you really want from that project. Go in early. Now those who maximize and get the best out of off-plan projects in Lagos, Nigeria, are those who enter very early. And one of the things you should also do basically is that stick to the payment plan. Don't buy an off-plan and you are struggling to pay. Ensure that you have worked a convenient payment plan for yourself and you go in very early. Then the another thing you should do as you're exploring the off-plan market basically is that invest with a developer who have secured funds to start and complete that project. I said in one of my videos that because of the fact that prices of building materials are skyrocketing almost on a daily basis, it has become quite unfortunate that some projects have been abandoned because some of these real estate developers don't have the funds to complete it. So it is very important that you work with a developer who has secured funds. Now, what some real estate developers are doing right now is that many of these guys are approaching microfinance banks. Most of these people are approaching banks abroad, securing what we call real estate trust fund, and this trust fund is being used, okay, to carry out that project. So most of these guys are not waiting for that monthly repayment that is specified on your in your contract or on the subscription form. Whether you pay or not, there are guys funding that project and they complete that project as at when it is due. So it is very important that we put into consideration as you make your choice. Then the other thing basically is that one of the other ways that you can also explore the market basically is that invest with a real estate developer who has a structured model or a mechanism on how the project will function effectively even in his absence. This is very important. There are some real estate development companies today who are putting some important structures and mechanisms that will make that project function very well with that. What am I talking about? Important things like power supply, water supply, important things like security, important things like waste disposal, important things of how the estates are maintained, how what is the duration for repainting, who are those handling the maintenance, the plumbing, the fitting, the electrification. So there are some companies that have all these things in place, and you don't need how to complete. All you just need to do basically is that call their attention, okay, to it when you're having some issues and you need some repairs to be done in your house. So there are some real estate companies who have that in, who have structured it out in their mode of operations, and these guys are professional about it. Now, how do you ensure you don't invest with the wrong developer? Number one, do your due diligence. If you are not in Nigeria and you want to buy a house, endeavor you get a professional, someone who understands the industry, because you see, some property that will turn out to be a disaster does not always look obvious from the first instance. Secondly, do not skip your payment plan. And sometimes most real estate investors don't understand that the more you don't stick to the payment plan, the more opportunities you are giving the developer to look for one simple terms and conditions to do what? To get you off that project. And the painful thing basically is that if you eventually get refunded, you don't get your full money, and that is just the reality. Now, in as much as fact that the off-plan is a very good investment, it is also very important we have to explain our fears and disadvantages so that you can balance up those two sides and make an informed decision. Now, is off-plan profitable? Is it a good investment? Absolutely, it is a fantastic investment. Should I invest it with everybody I get to see online? No. You have to check all those things I've mentioned: the track record, the integrity, the financing, the continuity, the maintenance project, or the maintenance policy. So if you have done this, trust me, you are making the best. And one of the ways you can do that basically is to get a professional that can help you ascertain all those checklists I've outlined. And of course, you'll be making a very, very wonderful real estate investment if you do so. Until I come your way in another exciting and educative session of Property Matters, I hope this few points of mine will give you an insightful information on how you can approach or how you should approach the Lagos State off-plan market. See you in my next video. Bye for now. God bless you.